Hey everyone, Mac is back. We're going to continue with the Commander series again today, and we'll talk about Kravras, Rhea, and Enzo. A couple interesting commanders, so let's get to it. And first we'll start off with Kravras, and going into his against rebel leaders. He's really not that good because he just doesn't do enough damage. As you can see down here, his base damage is right around 4,500, so that's not really good enough for a rebel leader. He's not gonna tank at 22,000 health, and not having a base damage there is not very good either. So it doesn't really work out too well. When it comes to the army, he has bowman attack, so I guess if you have him awakened, you could probably use him in that respect. Especially for a free-to-play. If you're a free-to-play specialized bowman, you could do that. Other than that, he's kind of worthless. You're not going to use him at all. When it comes to his awakening, I don't have him. I started to do it, but he just takes too many books to be able to do that. I have the medals for it. I think we all do. I think they gave them to us basically through one of the events. You could get all the medals. But overall, looking at his 4-star ability, when your bowmen attack, they have a 20% chance of additionally attacking one time, so it can do another 20. Has a 20% chance of doing more damage. So maybe you could do that. I mean, if for a free-to-play bow commander, then absolutely, because your options are limited. So if you got him to 4 stars, then that would be something you'd really want to do. But in general, Kravras really isn't that good when it comes to just comes to this aspect with awakening. And in the tavern, you can see he has finance and aptitude. For free to play, like I've stated before, the aptitude actually isn't too bad. Finance, you're going to get gold a lot of other places too, so that doesn't really matter too much. He does take drink, which a lot of other commanders do as well. Actually got a moderate amount. I wouldn't say a lot, just a moderate amount, but you're not going to really want to upgrade him. As you can see, I'm at level 14 and I'm playing the game for years and still haven't upgraded him, so I'm probably not going to be able to do that with him or take him any higher. And when it comes to the training grounds, he's a little bit of a specialized commander. If you get if you get a blessing with ranged commanders or male commanders, then maybe you'll want him, because his ability here deals 6,000 damage to all enemies. So he's similar to Obene in the sense that he'll do damage to every single commander there, so that's nice. I mean, you're talking, there's 6 commanders against, so that's 36,000 damage, which is really good. And then there's a 50-50 chance that he'll do a stun, so then he stuns everybody for 2 seconds, so that's really good. It's not like the tank commanders will they have like a straight line stun or a fanned out stun or something, which will only get a certain amount of people. In this respect, he'll be stunning every single one. It's only only 50% chance. It always seems to proc, so that's a really good ability. I like that, and that's why he can be useful in the training grounds. And it can be very useful in like the Weirwood too, Weirwood Memories, because just because of that stun if he gets it off. Next ability deals 4,000 damage to 3 random targets every 13 seconds. So that's not really that great, because it takes 13 seconds for that to happen. The 4,000 damage, so now you're talking with 3 targets, that's 12,000 damage, so that isn't too bad. Going down here, it says that poisoning the enemy every 10 attacks, dealing damage per second. 3 seconds. So you're talking 27. You are talking 3,000 damage basically there with that every 10 attacks. So that takes a long time to get off as well, and then the reduced resilience for 20 for all enemies. So he's kind of a support commander in the sense that he'll do some different things here to help out. But he does that, like I said, that first ability is really, really good, and I like that. So he does have some value in the game. Not as much as you would think, and maybe at some point once I get enough books I will awaken him. But for a free to play, then I would say it's probably worth awakening. Well, actually, he probably isn't. Unless you're bows, you're not going to really want to awaken him too much. I mean, even if you have the medals or the tokens or the medals to do so, you're really not going to want to do that. So now we'll turn to Rhea, who is an interesting commander in herself. She has quite some value in the game, actually. When it comes to rebel leaders, she's really not that good. She's not really made for rebel leaders in that respect, because she doesn't do enough damage, and she's more for defense, and you're not going to put her in there as a defense, as a tank anyway. So you're really gonna avoid that most importantly. When it comes to the army, she's actually really good if you're using infantry and cavalry, 2 lines, because she'll give you, once maxed out, 40% on both of those. Plus, if you max her out, she'll give you 15% health for that front line as well. So that's really good. Really good too. So we don't know what her awakening skill is going to be. It should be very interesting though. I'm kind of curious because since she's a female commander and might be worth it to put in your formation for with Layla, because like I said, because of that female, where she'll be able to proc her her ability a little bit, a couple more times. So that's something else to consider as well. Obviously not awakened yet, so we'll just move to the tavern. And in the tavern, she does have combat rate and leadership, so very good commander when it comes to upgrading in the tavern. You can see I have her maxed right now for at the purple quality, and she does take the jewelry. So like we talked about with Sabrina before, she does take jewelry, so you're going to want to upgrade her as much as you can. So I have my jewelry actually saved up, kind of waiting for her to get her to gold, so that once I do, I will be able to max her. I mean, to get to 45 to 60 is going to take a lot of jewelry, and that's something that maybe I even made a mistake on as well. And maybe I didn't. I don't know if you're looking at it, she has combat rate and leadership, and so does Sabrina, has both of them too. So maybe that's not the case as much, because I could have kind of incrementally increased them both. But she's pretty good, and you're going to want to use your jewelry for her for sure. And as for the training grounds, she's actually very useful in the training grounds, and the reason she is useful is for her actual skill that she has here, her main skill, where she applies silence to all enemies and prevents them from using their active skill. So if she gets this off, she actually silences the abilities of all your opponent, which is really nice. So then they can't heal themselves, they can't get the active skills off of damage. So very, very good in that respect. It's kind of interesting because where you want to put her in your lineup. She does have a decent amount of health and defense as well, not as much attack, so you can actually put her in the front line if you want to. You want her to get that ability off, but if she's in the back line, she takes her a little longer to get to the front to be able to get her attacks off, so the front line might be better depending on how you want to do it, but that's really good. And then she lowers the target's rage by 100 per attack, so then she's actually stopping the commander that she's attacking from getting their ability off, so that's also very nice as well. Oh, I forgot to mention that also increases their defense by 8,800. So she also gets her own defense up to 15,000. So if she gets that off, she's actually going to be better defending and taking a lot less damage. And then her actual damage that she does here, she deals 8,570 damage to a target every 5 attacks. Every 5 attacks, which is, fairly quickly, she'll be doing a lot more damage there, and then reducing the target strategy, and then she reduces skill damage taken by 40%. So if someone's skill comes off and say it procs at like 10,000, she's only getting 6,000 of that damage because 40% of that is not going to be able to hit her. So she's really good in the training grounds, depending on within certain lineups. I definitely use her, and I like her in attacking and defending, so depending on how you want to do that. And obviously we just talked about her skills. They're all very, very good. I like her skills in general to be able to actually do a little extra damage here, and then obviously what she has here. So she's valuable in the game. I'm curious to see about like I said, the awakening, but we'll cross that road when we come to it. And the last one in this set is Enzo, and Enzo is an interesting, very useful commander in the game. Very interesting for a lot of reasons. I'm going to go over that here in a minute. As for rebel leaders, he's one of the best for the rebel leaders. I have to give him a 5 because you use him for almost every formation possible. The only one I really haven't used him for is against spears. Actually, no, I've used him against spears. I'm sorry, against Cav. And you're going to say that's kind of weird, but against spears, I typically put him in there with Egbert to just protect him. So he'll get damaged at the very beginning, and then his main ability here, which is the Perseverance. Is his every attack increases 1% for every 1% health loss. So if you can keep his health really low and not die, he'll do a massive amount of damage with that 1% increase in attack. So, and you think 1% isn't much, but I mean, if 6,500 damage, and 1% of that is going to be 600. Sorry, it's going to be 65. So if you're increasing by 65 every 1%, I mean, now you're talking, you know, doubling his damage, tripling his damage. I mean, the damage is incremental. It's pretty crazy. So definitely use him in almost everyone. And there are formations out there against the cavalry rebel leaders. I just haven't used them yet and when it comes to the army specialization, this is very similar to Rey, and or actually no, I'm sorry, it's not similar to Rey. He's pure cav, so if you have him gold, then he's going to be a really good front line for his cav health, attack, and defense, all 40%. So very, very good, and especially if you have him awakened, because if you have him awakened, you'll actually get the extra damage in here, extra stats in here as well, and he'll be, I believe, 90%. So he's very 92 and 94%, I believe, very, very similar, or exactly the same as not Sabrina. Let me go look over here. I have her already gold, but yeah, here we go. Lats. It's similar to Lats. So you can see here, Lats has the. If we go to the specialization, you can see they're all 64% when awakened to 3 stars, and then we go look in here to hidden abilities, and you see 26 and 28%, exactly the same as what Enzo is. So definitely worth getting Enzo to at least 3 stars. And then now we're going to look at his 4-star ability. In battle, every 3 seconds, Commander Enzo increases allied cavalry lineup defense by 5%. So it's the same type of thing where you get that heal effect as well. So there is some synergy when it comes to that. So if you, we're going to go over him, I believe next, in my next group is Jamie. And Jamie has an ability that procs whenever somebody heals, and as you can see in here, when Enzo heals. So if you can get a commanders that heal and then put them in with Jamie, that is a one combination of skills, of commanders, I mean, that you can put together. So like Enzo and Jamie, we really, really good together in your army if you want to elect to go that route. I would highly recommend doing it too if you do have them both gold and they're awakened to 4 stars. It does take time, but definitely worth it. So, but let's go to the tavern. And in the tavern, you can see he has combat rate again, so another nice boost in here. And he does take books, and books, there's quite a few commanders that do take books as well, but he's worth it. So you're going to be able to want to upgrade him in the tavern. As for the training grounds, you would think that he would be pretty decent in the training grounds. From what I have seen, he's not very good at all. He just dies too quickly, and he doesn't get this 1% attack off fast enough to be able to do enough damage, at least in my experience. Maybe there's a formation that you put him in the back line. I'm not sure. I mean, he does have 37,000, which is kind of mediocre for a front line, because you put some spears up there and it just really tears them up pretty fast. As for his abilities, he deals 78, 50 damage to targets in a straight line, and additional damage against infantry targets. So I mean, if you do an attack against an infantry, then yeah, now we're talking, over 15,000 damage just in that ability. Like I said, this Perseverance is one of the best in the game when it comes to skills, just because of it just increases his attack by so much. He gains a shield that absorbs over 8,700 skill damage for 10 seconds when health is lower than 8,733. So again, when you have him to lower health, he'll actually have a shield that goes up that can block that as well. His defense is adds to his base, which is over 10,000. So basically, I have him at purple right now. I'm slowly getting him to gold, but I'm not sure I want to do that, because he's so much better against rebel leaders, and in that respect, because once I increase him to gold, it actually makes him tougher to kill, which again, I'm not really sure that's the case, that you want to do that. I think maybe you want to take him to gold just because you can actually put him as a tank against level 5 rebel leaders, and that's what it kind of, level 4 and level 5. I do against level 4, but he just dies fast, and you kind of have to find a way around it where he'll actually live longer if you have him to 4-star, or I'm sorry, to gold quality. So he's actually pretty good overall, and I like his ability. So until next time, Mac out.